It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by Agile Dad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. It's Friday and it's time for our Agile Not So Agile episode of the Daily Stand Up Podcast. And today I decided I wanted to share something really special with you. I have for years talked about the three most important words in the human language. And those three words are help me understand. And I think that when I say those words, sometimes people misinterpret what the true meaning behind it is, or they don't value it at the same level as I do. So I thought it'd be fun to dedicate a podcast episode to talk about where Help Me Understand came from, navigating the complexities of Help Me Understand, and figuring out how it applies to us in our everyday life. So here we go. In today's hyper-connected world, with information at our fingertips and global conversations just a click away, understanding one another has never been more crucial. Yet, it's apparent in many ways that we're divided even more and less understanding than ever before. Why is that the case? Why are we like that? With all this technology and with all the things going on, why is Help Me Understand so hard for people? I think that part of it is they don't genuinely understand where Help Me Understand is supposed to take them. So I want to break this down for you from a psychology perspective, from the background of psychology. So here we go. So we'll start with the power of curiosity. At its core, the plea itself, Help Me Understand, is an expression of genuine curiosity. It's a bridge to empathy, a door to a deeper connection, an admission that we don't know everything and that we should know everything. Think about children for a minute. So, children are natural explorers. They ask endless questions to understand the world around them. Why is the sky blue? My favorite. Where do babies come from? But as we grow older, societal expectations, fear of being wrong, and simple complacency can stifle our ability to be inquisitive. We should have that same power of curiosity that we had as a child as an adult. We should be able to ask that powerful question without feeling like we are doing something wrong, right? Or having a fear of asking a question. We should be just as inquisitive as we were when we were a child. And that takes me to the fear of not knowing. When you admit that you don't understand something, it's terrifying. I'll tell you that right now. At least the first few times, it's so scary, right? In a world that equates knowledge with power, acknowledging a lack of understanding can feel like revealing a weakness. However, when you let go of that fear and ask someone to help you understand, you're not just gaining knowledge, you're building trust, showing a level of vulnerability, and forging deeper connections. I've said it a million times, vulnerability is strength. And we need to get to that point where we're exposing the underbelly of what's going on and talking about, why it's so important to help someone understand. And when I say help me understand, it could be anything from help me understand why you feel that way, or help me understand your perspective, or help me understand why this is so urgent or important to you. Help me understand why this is the first thing you thought of. Help me understand why you think that would be a better dinner option. Help me understand why you really like that movie. It could be any number of things, right? But the truth of the matter is there are barriers to clear understanding. And it depends on who you're talking to, right? Sometimes it could be as simple as a cultural difference. I know for a fact cultural nuances can lead to misinterpretations. What's considered polite in one culture could be completely rude in another culture. I've witnessed this firsthand, and especially when you're dealing with diverse groups of people, whether it be in a home setting, a church setting, a work setting, doesn't matter. You need to understand that there are cultural differences between people, and we need to overcome those cultural differences, just like there's generational gap differences, because people were shaped by challenges and experiences that happened in their times. Sometimes people have trouble with certain political or social matters because of generational differences. When they were coming around, things were different. And they want to stay in that generational background instead of moving forward with the time that we have. What about cognitive bias? I talk about this one so much in my advanced product owner courses. These are mental shortcuts we take based on our own experiences, which lead us astray. A lot of times we make assumptions about what's going on, and it causes us to feel or act or behave a certain way. And then the final barrier to understanding is information overload. Sometimes just the sheer amount of information available is overwhelming, and it leads us to form selective understanding. I can't, there's no way I can comprehend it all, so I'm going to pick and choose the pieces that I want to understand and go from there. Now, if you really want to help grow your ability to understand, if you want to help foster understanding, there's some steps you can do. So the first step is active listening. This means full concentration, understanding, and responding to what's being said rather than just hearing the message. I talk a lot about active listening in my Advanced Certified Scrum Master course. I think it's so important that and the way I word it is, are you listening to respond, which is what I call hearing, or are you listening to understand, which is what I call active listening? And I think that if we're active listening to understand, it's going to make our life a whole lot easier. Don't be afraid to ask open-ended questions. Can you tell me more about that? What makes you feel this way? These are questions that open a door to deeper understanding and deeper empathy towards what someone else might be going through. Another is to seek diverse perspectives. Engage with people outside of your immediate circle. Read books, watch films, attend lectures, listen to podcasts that offer a different viewpoint than what you normally would think. So that way you can gather and understand why people feel the way they do. And finally, a last step to really fostering understanding is to reflect. After someone gives you information or after you hear information, take time to process what you've learned. The art of reflection happens, and it really helps you internalize and truly figure out new information in a way that you can foster understanding. And that's where we need to be. One other key that I just thought of, sorry, there are one more out there, it's important for us to figure out a way to bridge the understanding gap that we have. Now, I don't care how you do that, but many people choose to use technology. So modern technology offers tools that can help us understand each other better. From translation apps for language that break things down from a language barrier perspective, to VR, virtual reality experiences that allow us to step into someone else's shoes and walk with them. Technology is making the world smaller and more interconnected. However, with all these blessings that technology brings, so come the challenges, right? The anonymity of online world can sometimes make empathy harder to come by. It can make it easier for someone to bully. But by harnessing the power of technology with a genuine desire to understand, we can bridge even some of the most challenging divides and really create a world where we're all one together. So in seeking understanding, we recognize our shared humanity. Every time we reach out to someone with the intention to truly understand them, we're taking a step towards a more empathetic, connected world. So next time you're in a conversation and you find yourself puzzled or at odds, just close your eyes for a second, take a deep breath, and say, help me understand. You might be surprised at all the doors it opens. I hope you have an amazing weekend. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. We look forward to seeing you on Monday. Until then, stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.